Okay, you gave me then I Know I'm Not Easy to Like by Pip Blom, who are a Dutch indie quartet based in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. The band is named after their lead singer, who started out making solo bedroom recordings before forming a band and releasing debut album Boat in 2019. So the band released their sophomore effort Welcome Break in November 2021, and I Know I'm Not Easy to Like, I believe, was the sixth single from the record, which is
Yeah, I believe it
quite
was.
quite a lot of singles, and it came out just 2 or 3 days before the full album released on Heavenly Recordings. So this is a band that I don't know all that much about. I'm sure you can fill in some of the detail at some point, Grant, but you did recommend them to me a good while back, and in fact, I put the single "It Should Have Been Fun" on the alternative music playlist in July last year, and that song is kind of has sort of clean, gentle, laid back, sort of slackerish, quite somber verse, but it's got this quite anthemic, fuzzed up chorus. So I really enjoyed that song but for whatever reason I hadn't kind of checked out their other stuff. So what about I Know I'm Not Easy to Like then? It opens up with a good thump to the drums and bass alongside these wiry guitar lines and an initially quite restrained vocal delivery from the lead singer. It's still quite laid back through the verse, but has these sort of it's got like a sort of jogging on the spot kind of indie punk drive to it, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And then between each verse, the intensity of the instruments picks up a bit. It's basically the same music. They just hit a bit harder. The vocal intensity ramps up a bit as well around the 1 minute mark, which is a nice moment leading into the chorus. The chorus itself is decent. It's a good sing along. The repeated lyrics, you got to work out what you want. I think I actually prefer the sort of more intense moments in the verse, especially on the vocal parts, than I do the chorus. But it is good. There's like a bridge part about 2.5 minute mark, which is okay, mixes things up a little bit, but it doesn't do all that much for me to be honest. But I think this track it's a bit of a grower for me in that it didn't really immediately kind of smack me in the face. It kind of just started to worm its way in a little bit, and I think it just gets catchier and catchier the more you listen to it. Personally, I think I would want just a little bit more of a like grunt and a bit more bite to the instruments, but that's just my kind of general personal preference that I want from most things, to be honest. But like I said, it has grown on me. It's a very palatable song. It's just times it's not that exciting. However, I would still give it a 7 out of 10. So I think definitely the more I do listen to it, the more it will grow on me, and the more that I'll kind of come to enjoy it. And I maybe sound like I'm being maybe overly negative on it, but I still think it's a really good song, and I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is an earworm, and I found it because I don't know, they reminded me a bit of one of the bands that we covered previously, Dry Cleaning.
Okay,
Um,
yeah,
and also I felt that they're quite similar to a lot of the bands that you maybe heard in like the 90s, kind of early noughties. They've got that kind of vibe to them, and I think they have that kind of vibe to them for good reason. I kind of went back and I didn't really know all that much about this band. It was one of those bands that just popped up on my radar, and I really don't know how or why. So I did a wee bit of digging and kind of preparation for doing the podcast today, and I came across a Rolling Stones article that was released round about the time that they released their debut album, Boat, as you quite rightly said. And according to the article, the lead singer, Pip Blom, kind of immersed herself in kind of Oasis and Blur records growing up as a
okay.
means of escaping what she kind of described as a kind of dearth of kind of decent music, and kind of cited the likes of kind of the Jason Derulos of the world. So that's obviously had an impact on their music, on their sound. I really like it, really enjoyed it. The album's definitely worth a listen as well. As I said, it's got this kind of beautiful nostalgic quality to it for me. I think there's a real kind of poignancy in the kind of lyrical content that's kind of matched with this kind of top class kind of indie guitar rock. It makes it really engaging. It feels very autobiographical. You kind of feel as if you're getting a bit of a kind of well, getting quite an intimate kind of peek into their lives, almost as if this was a soundtrack to their lives. I could imagine a lot of this music featuring like motion picture soundtracks. To be honest, it's very much got that kind of feel to it, and I think that's what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah, fair enough. What would you give it then?
What did I give it? Let's have a look. I think I gave it an 8. Yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10 for
Yeah,
me.
I did listen to the album, not properly. I gave it a quick listen,
Ah,
and as patronising as that sounds, and it seems like a lot of sort of more of the same to this kind of thing, which isn't
yeah,
necessarily a bad thing. And I think I know I'm not easy to like is one of the better songs. It should have been fun. I mentioned earlier I really like. I think Keep It Together is good, and the causing song Trouble in Paradise is a standout as well. So I think if you like this song, then you will like the rest of the album for sure.
definitely.
Cool. Okay, so that was I Know I'm Not Easy to Like by Pip Blom.